Welcome students. Today's class is on the theories of Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer's theories are very interesting to study in sociology. Herbert Spencer, a functionalist, is an English sociologist influenced by Charles Darwin, and he contributed many theories in the field of sociology on the basis of the theories of Charles Darwin. Spencer is considered as one of the strong advocates of science of sociology, as he wrote many theoretical texts relating to society. His functionalism and individualism were derived from his philosophical thoughts of morality of human beings, which he has given in detail in his first book, Social Statics. According to him, each member of the race must not only be endowed with faculties enabling him to receive the highest enjoyment in the act of living, but must be so constituted that he may obtain full satisfaction for every desire. Without diminishing the power of others, one must derive pleasure from seeing pleasure in others. All his sociological contributions can be seen in his works Social Statics, published in 1850, The Principles of Sociology, published in 1854, Principles of Biology in 1864, First Principles in 1862, and The Principles of Psychology in 1870. Before the publication of the Principles of Sociology, he published a book entitled A Study of Sociology. Spencer advocated laissez-faire doctrine in his works, which is another area where he shows his strong individualism. Apart from these books, he wrote his autobiography also. His main contributions to sociology in the form of theories are theory of evolution, organismic analogy, methodological contributions, the science of sociology, and the development of society. Much of his contributions are due to the influences he had during his prime time. Now, we will see a brief sketch on the life history of Herbert Spencer. Spencer was born on 27th April 1820 in Derby, a town in England which was the centre of British industry. He was the eldest of 9 children and the only one to survive. His father, George Spencer, was a nonconformist, dissenter and highly individualistic in his outlook. He was a school teacher interested in science and politics. Herbert Spencer's mother, Harriet, was a patient, a gentlewoman who looked after her son Herbert carefully, because he was sick and weak during his childhood. Herbert Spencer was educated at home till the age of 19, when his uncle took the responsibility of his education. His uncle taught philosophical radicalism to young Spencer. He received no formal education in languages, including English. His father and uncle were very particular that young Spencer has to become a scientist, and taught him natural sciences and mathematics. Though his father tried to put him in Cambridge University, Herbert decided to follow his own scientific interest, and in 1837 joined the railways as an engineer. Along with this, he busied himself by writing articles and read a lot of books relating to his subjects and philosophy. In 1841, he was discharged from railways and returned to his home in Derby. After this, Spencer published several articles in radical press. Till 1848, he was struggling to get a permanent job till he got a job in London Economist. In the next 5 years, he was writing and developed good relationship with journalists of those days. While working with the economists, he wrote his first book, Social Statics, in 1861. The book was well received by radical publics. He had a financial fortune from his uncle when his uncle died in 1852. He got a sizable amount of money, which made him relinquish his job from economist and lead a life of scholar without regular employment or institutional attachment. In 1854, he started his second book, Principles of Psychology, but fell ill, from which he recovered after 1 year. He started taking drugs to overcome his psychological problems, but surprisingly, he was able to write a number of books during this time. From 1870 onwards, he became a successful author. His study of sociology brought him a lot of profit. By the turn of the century, most of his works were translated into French, German, Italian and Russian. He never accepted any honors offered to him by universities, the government or the scientific bodies. Till the end of his life, he remained as a bachelor and wrote a wide variety of controversial issues of the society existing at that time. He died on the 8th of December 1903 at the age of 83. He wrote in his will that his body should not be buried according to the tradition and it may be cremated. Students, now we will see the influences of external forces on Spencer. Unlike other European countries, political turmoil was absent in the 19th century England. It enjoyed the industrialization and the prosperity of industrialization. England was also dominated by the ideological beliefs and moral correctness of free and unbridled competitions. The first influence on him was his father and then his uncle, who were primarily responsible for training him in mathematics and science. In the early days, he had informal contacts as freelance writer with Huxley, Hoover and Darwin. His contact with Darwin was mainly responsible for his comparison of the society with superorganism. His biological knowledge brought sociological formulation, but his critical insights to social phenomenon came from Malthus. In physical sciences, he was influenced by Newton when he went on arguing that there were laws transcending all phenomena, both physical and organic. He discovered that general laws are applicable to organic and superorganic events. He relied on physics to argue the laws of society. He had relationship with Comte, but in most of the issues Spencer disagreed with Comte, but this helped him to think more and more about the society. Functionalist approach to society is a variation of Comte's structural functionalism, which was the base of Spencer's perspective to sociology. Spencer's contributions to sociology are many, but we will discuss here evolutionary doctrine, the science of sociology and the organic analogy. The first one is evolutionary doctrine. Evolutionary doctrine is the foundation of Spencer's theory. Spencer formulated 3 basic laws in his book First Principle and believed in the unilinear evolution of mankind. Spencer said that progress of mankind is proved by different stages of development and all the societies have to patiently wait and undergo this process. As the human evolution there is an evolutionary process for the society too. When the evolution takes place, the changes in the society can be seen in its structure as well as functions. To quote Spencer's words, the change from the homogeneous to the heterogeneous is displayed in the progress of civilization as a whole, as well as in the progress of every nation, and it is still going on with increasing rapidity. The process of evolution is based on three laws. The first one is the law of persistence of force. The second one is the law of indestructibility of matter, and the third one is the law of continuity of motion. Based on these three laws, Spencer developed four secondary propositions before defining the concept of evolution. The first one is persistence of the relationship between the forces. 2. Transformation and equivalence of forces. The third one is the tendency of everything to move along the line with least resistance and greatest attraction, and the fourth one, the principles of alteration. All these laws and propositions are developed by Spencer on his knowledge in physics, and these laws formed the basis of his evolutionary theory. Evolution he described in his first principle as an integration of matter and concomitant dissipation of motion, during which matter passes from indefinite, incoherent homogeneity to a definite, coherent and heterogeneity, and during which the retained motion undergoes a parallel transformation. Spencer applied his evolutionary formula in order to understand the evolution of the society. According to him, redistribution of matter and motion are seen in celestial bodies, in organisms and in societies too. As far as the societies are concerned, the evolutionary movement starts with the simple society. Aggregation of simple societies forms the compound societies, and the aggregation of compound societies forms doubly compound society. Further, aggregation of doubly compound societies will result into the trebly compound societies. With increase in size, the structure also increases, which again give differences in power and occupation. In short, we can say that the movement is from militant to industrial society. Spencer's evolutionary doctrine is seen in the other fields too, like the areas of knowledge, human beings, etc. According to Spencer, the study of evolutionary doctrine is holistic in nature and is a science by itself. This he called as the science of sociology. Now, I will explain the science of sociology. For Spencer, understanding human being is possible only by studying the space occupied by the human beings, that is the society. He believed in studying the society in functionalist holistic preview. Though in the beginning he was not convinced with the separate science to study society, later he argued that separate science is necessary to understand society. This science should be theoretical and deductive, as social processes are unique in their own nature. For him, sociology is a science which must explain present state of society by concentrating on the initial stages of evolution and applying the laws of evolution. He wrote about this science in Social Statics, in the study of sociology and also in the principles of sociology. He conceived society as a superorganic system because the society is a combination of several living organisms. Spencer compared the society, the superorganism, with organism, which is developed as the theory of organismic analogy. Now, we will study the theory of organismic analogy. If the evolutionary theory is based on Spencer's knowledge on physics, the organismic analogy is based on biology. He studied the celestial objects, organisms and society and kept at periphery the celestial objects. He has done an in-depth study on organisms and societies and found out that societies are nearer to organisms than anything else. But he said that societies are more than organisms. Therefore, he called society as superorganism. He made an analogy between biological organism and superorganism. Spencer has given 5 similarities and 3 differences between organism and superorganism. The first similarity between the two is the growth. In both the organism and the superorganism, growth is visible during the greater part of their existence. The second similarity is that both the organisms and the superorganisms show progressive differentiation in structure while growing. Likewise, then the organism grows, functions also will become complex in nature. In the society too, one can see this characteristic feature. The third similarity is the progressive differentiation of function when the organism and the society grow. The fourth similarity is the evolution establishes the progressive differentiation of structure and function. The last similarity is that just as living organism is considered as a nation of units, a nation of human beings is considered as a society. The first difference between the biological organism and the society is that difference in an organism, the parts form concrete whole, and in society the parts are free and more or less developed on its own. The second difference is that in organism the consciousness is fixed at the center, whereas in society the consciousness is dispersed. The third difference is that in the organism the parts live for the whole, whereas in the society the whole society lives for the parts, that is the individuals. Here one can feel Spencer's individualism too. Spencer has given a detailed analysis of superorganism later in the second part of the principles of sociology. Other main contributions of Spencer's are steps of evolution, contents of sociology and methodological issues. Dear students, so far I have been explaining to you some of the interesting and important contributions of Herbert Spencer to the field of sociology, but his contributions to sociology are more than all these theories.